trying to figure out why the background audio is so quiet. The music, I turned it up a bit, but I feel like that's louder than I usually have it. Hmm. Also, good evening. Hope you're having a good one. As usual, give me just a sec. Getting a couple things set up still. Okay, cool. I'll turn my audio down a little bit because I'm spiking a little there. Good evening. Hope you've all had a good beginning of your week. Happy Monday, happy Tuesday, whatever it might be when you're watching this. I hope you're having a great day or evening. For me, it's evening. See that sunset in the background? Yeah, that's me. This is live footage. Look at that shooting star. I actually did some work offline. Made the I forgot what I was calling this, but just like the thing that joins the two panels together. It's going pretty good. Username. How about you? And we're gonna make some more models today and some texturing, but I figure this is a good opportunity to play around with a few different things that I've prototyped and maybe get some opinions going. And honestly, we're probably gonna jump back to these different like lights and textures a few times throughout the night. As newer people drop in, we can get newer perspectives on some stuff. And now it looks like the audio is too loud. Turn that down a bit. First thing I did since last time is I made this, which is a little hard to see from this perspective. Let me open it in Substance Painter, because this looks a little better here, especially with the lighting. This is meant to emulate the little molding piece that we see here in the Resident Evil 2 example that we've been using. It's going good. Nothing too special. The new Mario movie kind of felt rushed. That's what people said. I haven't seen it yet. I was going to see it this weekend, but then a bunch of other things came up and didn't end up checking it out. I know the common excuse is it's a kids movie, but I don't know. I feel like there are plenty of family movies that are still fun. Either way, I feel like this is a good lesson for them to learn that they just can't throw a big name at a movie and it'll always work, because then they're just gonna keep pumping out slop. So I'm glad people are pretty adamant about the feedback. Like, it still did well enough to where I'm sure they're gonna make more, but there's valid criticism people are giving it rather than just saying it's slop. Speaking of slop, I've been trying to figure out what lighting would work best for this. So if I go back to this view here, you can see where I've put this. One thing I tried and I just didn't like no matter how I did it. Oh, there are two lights here. That's not what I wanted. Was having the light just in the center of this hallway here. So this would be like if we had it hanging from the ceiling there. And I don't know, it feels a little... It feels like I'm not taking enough of an advantage of the lighting system here. So I do like putting it up against one of the walls, kind of like what we see in Resident Evil 2 here, where like that there's a lighting piece here. They do also have some ceiling center lights, so it's not like exactly one for one. And there's also not a whole lot of shading in this example. but doesn't have to be one-to-one exact with what that game is doing. Just kind of using that as reference here. The other thing I wanted to figure out is the color of the light. So we have this somewhat cool, somewhat warm, I guess in between. Then we have more of just a warm color, a little bit darker, a little bit, little less bright. And then we have sort of what I initially was imagining, which I still think I like probably the most, which is this cooler blue light. Because, again, this takes place in a research lab in the Arctic. So these cooler colors, I think, help fit and keep this level a little bit more thematically consistent. Especially with the color of the paint down here being those two different shades of blue, one being very faded and almost white. That really pops out with this cooler white color, as opposed to like this orangey color or just this very neutral white. Not to say I can't use different colors in different scenarios, so if we kind of go back to the overall mapping, the player starts here, and we might even have this big opening foyer area, still kind of going back and forth on how I want that to look. But like this initial part here, and I'm not drawing anything. Oh, this is a text layer. This initial part here is still meant to be pretty low stakes, nothing too intense. Gives the player an opportunity to get used to some of the non-horror mechanics. Even this part too, a little bit. Other places, like this corner here, which I haven't talked about too much, and probably won't get into too much detail live, so that people can give unbiased feedback when the demo finally releases. But certain sections outside of the part that's meant to feel a little more comforting, I think can utilize the different color schemes like this. I might need to make different walls for that so that the colors blend together a little bit more. But I do agree with you, username. The cooler light here, I think, works better. The other thing I was thinking of is how spread apart do I want these lights to be? Here I did it every 2. I think realistically probably every 1 would make more sense. So like 1 gap, 2. Or even possibly every gap or every pane. I feel like that's too much lighting though. Maybe? Or then also have it be every pane, but then have it in the middle, like this. Another thing I noticed too is how close to the wall it is. If we bring it a little bit closer, we can start to see a little bit more of the, like, the imperfections of the wall. Which isn't an awful effect, but then kind of in contrast with the wall on the other side, because we have both here in like the same scene, it looks a little jarring that this wall has all of these imperfections, but this wall doesn't. You know those wall lights with the metal cage around them that goes on the wall? I think those would fit. Yeah, I had a couple ideas for the actual model for the light. Oh, I pulled up some references earlier I was going to look at throughout the day, but I didn't get too much of a chance to actually check that out. I am kind of curious, though. How would this look if I duplicated this, but on the other side, but also kind of kept it close to the wall? Oh, I didn't copy-paste. So that it's still kind of doing, like, the weird shading on the wall. And it's a little bit hard to tell because we don't have a floor, we don't have a ceiling yet, so we'll be working on that a little bit today. The other thing too is this is a lot less dark in Substance Painter, so let's also try changing the color of that. That's the lab wall. Oh, good morning, Basti. It's kinda early for you. Also, this texture takes up such a small amount of space that I can probably reuse this and put more things on here just to kind of keep file sizes a little bit lower. Because I definitely don't need to make the bolts however large this texture file is. Let's try to bump the brightness up a bit and see if that looks any better. You need to establish a source of light before worrying about the actual light. I would disagree because the actual light is going to dictate what the source of light is going to look like. Because let's look at this. If I want my light to be up against a wall like this, I need to make a model that matches something that would go up against a wall. If I want my source of light to be in the middle of the hallway here, I would need to make something that hangs from the ceiling or is imprinted into it. So I think how I want the lighting to look is going to dictate what does the light model look like. So I need to figure out where I want the lights to go first. Basti, you can get some sleep. It's early for you. I'm also not a huge fan of it being that bright. I don't like my horror games so dark you can't see anything, but a little bit of shadow is not a bad thing. It's good contrast. I did also want to... I didn't get a chance to watch this today, but I did want to share a little bit of it.
Hello everyone, welcome in.
So this is Halbot Studios. Let me see if I can find a good image here. Okay. So, this is something that he made in Unreal Engine, and he's got his own series on how to make modular assets, which is kind of what I'm doing. So he made that hallway out of these here, with the right lighting and the right textures and the right materials. I have access to a lot of the same tools that he does, so I want to take the opportunity at some point to go through, especially with how he's doing the lighting here, because I like how it looks a lot. I like the reflections, I like the detail, even the little bumps in the level I think are a nice touch. So I want to check that out at some point. I'm going to go ahead and throw the link to this out at all of you, in case you want to see it too. But I won't be watching it tonight on stream. I mean, doesn't the model also cast shadows? You can turn that off so it doesn't. I mean, we can look at this, for example, right? He's got this lamp here, but you don't necessarily see any shadows on that lamp, nor any shadows up there. You can just mark does not cast shadows, or it's cast shadows in a checkbox, and you can disable that. What was I about to... Oh yeah, we're trying to get this to look a little bit less dim. Because even unlit still looks a bit dark. I tried bumping up the brightness. I didn't bump up the brightness. Now, wait, is this it? Or I hit undo a bunch of times, which is why it didn't look any different. Okay. Well, that still didn't change too much. Is it the saturation? Let's also look at it like this. We get a bit of a better idea. Not saturation. Disable that. Oh, hey, Nibble. Good to see you. Maybe if I bump up or drop the contrast a bit. I'm trying to figure out how to get this little molding thing to look good. It looks a little too dark. I don't like that. Okay, I'm gonna open up this on a new window so that I can edit it and look at it in real time. Because I think that's how this works. That's a little too much sauce. Same with that. That just changes the tint. Maybe it's like the roughness? No. Not really the normals either. I'm trying to figure out why that looks so dark. Why blue light? It's a research station in the Arctic, so making it thematically consistent. Because I did demo and try out other colors of light, and the blue paints, the two different colors of blue definitely pop out a little bit more with the cooler color white, as opposed to the neutral white or this orangish light. I guess I should also ask, does it look okay with this middle piece being this dark of a color? I feel like it's too much of a contrast from the rest of the wall around it. Yeah, this is concrete. Oh yeah, eat all my RAM. Oh, it does not like full screen. Okay, let's try that again. Let's do this. Because it's struggling. Why is it struggling so much? It's at 60 FPS just in the editor. You're not super sure about the copper color. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. What do you think would be better, like a silver or aluminum? Why would concrete be separated by metal? I don't, it's not being separated, it's being held together. Because these are like concrete slabs almost. And this is just kind of a joint between the two of them. Silver. And again, we're looking at a reference from RE2, which is this one. I think we talked about this last time as well. Where there's these just kind of... Let me pop out this image a bit. Open image in new tab. How big is this? There's like these little dividers almost. I don't think these are the exact same things I'm making, but just supports, because you can even tell like here, this arch, this is all one item. Definitely meant to kind of support the wall itself. A dark-ish iron. Okay. Let's hop back over then to Substance Painter. Because right now I'm using this steel color. No, this bronze color. And I changed the base of it a little bit. What do we think? Something like this? Or should I just pick a whole new material that's a little bit closer? Like if I do metal. We have steel and whatnot, so we can even sample around with it. If we hide this and throw like, I think someone said iron. Yeah, but the warmness was a little bit too much of a contrast. My weekend was good, Maddie. How about you? Did I do all of the things? It was a busy weekend. It was a friend's birthday, and so spent a lot of time with just all of my friends together doing stuff. Wasn't home for too much of it. That's pretty good. We like the iron one here. Okay, let's go ahead and add the color mask so that we can keep the bolts their own thing. There's at least some contrast with them. I'm kind of worried that it looks a little too dirtied up. We're making the hallway of a secret lab in the Arctic. I'm going to go ahead and export this texture. And then this specifically is a wall joint. Kind of provide a bit more structural stability. Here it'll go ahead and automatically import. And then I think I can go ahead and reset my brightness on the material itself. I might have to restart Unreal Engine to get a little bit of juice back. I don't know where like all the FPS dips are coming from. And I'm definitely worried it's a little bit too dirtied up. can't imagine these joints holding concrete. That's why they work together. Teamwork makes the dream work. You still think that's a better color? Okay. Let's clean it up. I feel like we should tone down the dirtiness of the the grime factor is probably something we can change. Edges. Nope, that's not it. Stains. It was in fact not stains. The dirt? Okay, let's just start hiding things until it goes away. It was dirt. So is this just not changing any of the actual stuff? Oh, there it is, dirt level. Found it. Let's also change the base color, if it'll let me do that, so it stands out a little less. Because this place isn't the best maintained, but it's still relatively well maintained. Up until this point, at least. Ooh, that didn't change all too much. Did it? Did I model the beams? I did. I made it worse, I think. How's it look in the other light? Like, at an angle, I think it's worse. Like, when the light's directly on it, it's not as bad. Make the concrete lighter? It's already pretty light. I don't think the concrete's the one I disagree with. Humor you and make them wider? I don't know about that one. That would also take a little bit more work. I can try it in a bit. I want to at least get the texture down first, because that's where my brain is right now. Okay, if I hide it. Maybe it's not the dirt. Oh, no, that's definitely the dirt. You see, like, that's confusing. I don't see any dirt. Okay, maybe I do see some dirt. Let's... Grunge. Let's reduce the grunge. If you add a ton of pipes, it'll stand out less. Yeah, I agree with you. Don't really rewatch shows. There's like, yeah, I agree. I think I'm the same way. Hmm. I have a feeling that's not the dirt. I feel like that's like some other scratch or something. So let me go ahead and close Unreal Engine because this is just dying. We'll come back here. Let's go ahead and increase the dirt again. I wonder if it was stains. Like, it's whatever those scratches are. Like, those ones. So it's not dirt. It's not stains. It's this fill. Do I even want this? Put it all back. Oh, oh man, my whole PC's lagging. Uh-oh. Give me just a sec. I know you guys are seeing a black screen, but it's not letting me move my mouse. Gonna have to kill Substance Painter. Yeah, it definitely has something to do with OBS also, but I'm running a really good graphics card. It should not be struggling this much. Okay, we're back. Substance Painter is dead, and I got like all of my frames back. If you're on YouTube, you're probably gonna have a pretty significant delay now. Twitch, you should still be fine. You need to like film your monitor externally with your phone. Yeah, I don't know why Substance Painter struggles so much. I don't think it did before. There were like some updates they rolled out and it made it worse. That looks a little bit cleaner to me. Just black screen? Yeah. The screen goes black when I try to like stream Unreal Engine, but Unreal Engine isn't open. It doesn't just default to the background screen. I don't know. I can always toy around with it a little bit more later. Let's go ahead and work on some more stuff. Blender, I did want to show that. This was the beam here. Uh-oh, almost bedtime. Sorry. I'm late in the evening. Let's go ahead and... Blender is where the cool stuff is at. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Either pipes or ceiling. Floor is kind of basic. I don't think I really need to spend too much time with the floor, because that's, you know, it's just this. I export this cube and I'm fine. The ceiling, I do kind of like the slight arch that we see with this hallway here. Like right up there. They also have like... I don't know if I would need any of these. But like this arch I like. Well, let's try to recreate that. You're thinking pipes. I feel like pipes can be done quickly enough. It'd probably add a good amount of detail. Okay, let's go with some pipes. There might even be some pre-built pipe stuff. What the heck is the beam builder? Oh. Oh, that might actually be not a bad thing to add somewhere. Don't think I need that though. Let's see, mesh. Wall factory. Oh, I remember this one. I don't really need that. You need a decision-making time limit, but that's the fun. Although, yeah, you might be onto something because I feel like if I spend more than half an hour on something super minimal, then yeah, it's probably time to move on. I don't see any pipes. Japanese curtains. I'm glad they gave me Japanese curtains. It's not that pipes are difficult to build, though. Let's be honest here. Okay. Okie doke. Let me see. So, doing this modular is probably still going to be the best bet. There are some, like, things holding them in place. That's probably not a bad idea. Although, I could also just cheat. Because I was thinking, oh, I can, like, get a cube and then cut out the holes for it. I don't even need to cut the holes out for it. I can just, like, have a rectangular prism up there. I do want to make the corner pieces. I think that's all I would need is, like, the corner piece and then the elongated piece. Straight piece. And because we're doing things super modular, I wouldn't need a straight piece longer or shorter than one of these squares here. Having a longer one might not be a bad idea, so that the things don't repeat too often. So maybe a length of 1, then a length of 2, then a length of 4. Let's go ahead and get cooking. Go ahead and add a cylinder. We'll shade smooth, so we won't need too much of a Vertice count on this. Let's check this out. If I increase the depth. Oh, sorry, man. Here. And if I right click and then shade smooth, it still looks very pipe-like without having to use a whole bunch of vertices on it. So I like that. Let's go with that. Let's also rotate. Oh, messed that up. Ooh, we were so close to being like perfect within this cube here. Honestly, if I spawned it in the right way, I probably wouldn't have to fix it now, but I've come this far. Ideally, all I should have to do is edge snap here with scale in the... Nope. Scale in the Y direction. Okay, that's not how snapping is gonna work, I guess. Is it because... There it goes. I was trying to do both at one time. What's the smart way of doing this? Do I have, like, the little extrusion in the middle? Do I have it on the ends? Do I have it on only one end? What do pipes do? I'm gonna Google pipes. They do both ends. I see. And then they have bolts. I see. Okay. I now know what to do. Also, is this going to be a good size? Probably. Let's go ahead and isolate. Increase this. Actually, let's do this instead. Factor of 9, 5, no, do 9, 8. It looks good. And then again, positive 9, 8. There's a way to like loop select. It's like Control Alt left click. Ooh, that was close. It looks like it's just Alt left click. Although it doesn't look like it always works on like these weird edges. Now there's also a way to scale. There's a shortcut to get this to scale based on like normals rather than if I were to like extrude, it would do that. but I don't remember what it is, so I'm gonna do extrude faces along normals. Is that? Let's go by something like a 2.5. Let me look at that reference again. A little more than 2.5. About, what does 5 look like? Oh, that might be a bit much. 0.04. I think that's a bit better. And we also want to mark sharp. Mark sharp. And then same thing here. That's so that when we shade smooth, it's not going to try to round out that part of the edges. Now when I shade smooth, this is still like not being rounded off, although maybe maybe this one should be. Clear sharp. No. Because even though it makes it a bit easier to see that it's pretty polygonal, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and add the rivets to this. And we're just going to reuse these ones that I made. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. And then clear the array. Oops. Clear this one's array. Rotate 90. Do this. Vertex snapping. That center it? No. Oh. This is all just 0, 0, which makes this actually a whole lot easier. There we go. Now that's in a good place. And I've done curves before, but I'm wondering if it's just going to be quicker for me to do an array here. I forgot how to do curves. So if the factor is, does it take rotation into account? I don't think it does. Fit curve? Oh! Sick, okay. My life easier. Add curve circle. Cool. That 90? No, it was 85. I was trying to see if there's a way to let me edit all of them at once. Let's do edge snap so we can bring that to the front here. Snap. Snap. Why is it snapping so far back? Maybe not edge, maybe face? No, it does not want to snap to anything. Alright, it's not that big of a deal. Just won't snap to anything. So now, array, fit curve, this curve. What was the point of the curve if you don't do anything with it? This is not fitting any kind of curve. How does this work? Have a good night, username. Okay, let's try this. All transforms. All transforms. So does it just like do the length of the curve and not like anything else? Okay, let's try something else. Awesome. there goes that idea. Let's just do this. Easier idea. Why is your... What? Oh, it's because I did apply. I see. There we go. Alright, now let's figure out a uniform way to do this. I think that should be okay. Gotta apply this first. Ooh. Close. I really kind of messed myself up by doing an odd number here. Best time to fix that is now. And this is a little weird because I changed how I did this. Let's do this too. Negative 1.5. That looks clean. Although it's kind of weird because it's a mirror modifier. Well, first, let's rotate this. Like a stop sign. Uh-oh. Oh, no. It's gonna be one of those weird, like, factors of pi to get this to rotate exactly. Oh, no. Nah, whatever. Oh, that's why. Because I had applied the mirror already, which I didn't want to do. Now we apply the mirror. There it goes. I was wondering why, like, the distance from here to here wasn't the distance from here to here. But it was. I was just doing the math weird. Although now this is weird. Because this is the center. Because this is a lot more narrow than it is up here. I don't like. .28. Yeah, we can just delete these. .4. .4. So why is this? Because this should be exactly the center. And so it should mirror on its point of origin. I guess not? That's weird. Okay. Because using this now as just its point of the mirror made it the way I was expecting it to be. Okay, that's fine. I'll just use that. Maybe there's some like other arithmetic going on with mirror that I just don't know about. I'm not the biggest fan of that. No. Still think that looks better. Maybe one in the center here. If I can get that to line up correctly. Hmm. These each need to come in a little bit more. Alright, let's try that again. I'm realizing the piece that looks off is this. Like, this piece is too close. I might just have to, at some point, redo this to where it's like, I don't know, actually circular. Or not like these weird angles. One, two, three, four. It's an octagon. What degree do you rotate an octagon? $45. I'm guessing 45 then divided by 2. Alright, have a good night, man. Take it easy. 22.5. There we go. That's perfectly lined up. So that's going to make this part easier. So I can go ahead and do this. And delete all these. And honestly, I'm going to delete you and you. Yeah, for whatever reason, like, you can see it here. Not. It's like so nearly imperfect. I don't understand why. Let's try this. Because I want to know why. I want to learn something with this. Get rid of these now too. This one's origin. Ooh, this is slightly off. Maybe that's it. Oh, come back. You should be 0. And, okay, this one's inconsequential. This is all 0. This is all 0 except for this part. So now if I do a mirror, okay, that looks exact. So I apply. If I copy paste and rotate 90, it should also look exact. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I do that again. Well, by 22.5. Oh, just getting 45. And same thing here. There we go. Oh man. Ooh, why is it doing that? Oh, I'm guessing it's because, like, the distance between these two is... Okay. should hopefully be simple enough fix. Get rid of you. So you just can't overlap the center, or actually you might be a bit big. Can't overlap the center, or you can't overlap this edge. So this, we can make you a bit bigger actually. So now I can mirror like that. Apply. Mirror again. It's good. Now it looks better. Okay. Okay, look. Bear with me. Super close. I think these are still just a bit too big. There is a way to scale at individual origin, though. I think. Orientation at normals, I think? No. Local? No. Okay. We've got the math down. It's easy enough to fix. Okay, I thought I was going insane. I thought the distance there was different, but it's not. Okay, I'm happy with that. Oh man, that took way longer than it needed to. Now to do the other side. Oh, that should be easy enough though. Join these together. Mirror. Ah. Mirror object is you. There we go. Now we need to separate these out with the textures. So I want to go vertex paint. Select all, and let's pick a paint color. Yeah, green is fine. Set color. Then we select hue. Change this to like a red. Vertex paint. Paint. Vertex color. So now, when we join, they're separated out. That makes applying textures to the bolts separately a lot easier. Then we want to do UV editing. And let's do Smart UV project. Here, you can actually probably reuse a texture. If we... Is that a setting maybe? If we do Smart UV project. Access a lot, no. Okay, I might just have to manually drag it over here. This will hopefully allow us to use one texture for both the pipe and the wall joint. Saving us the texture space. Go back to model. Back to object mode. Fade smooth. We'll need to set some of the sharpness. And then all of this, I think, is actually fine being smooth. It was just those edges there that we wanted to make sharp. There we go. Now I just export. I guess I would call this wall and make a new, yeah, new folder. Call this pipes. Caps lock on. Wall join. Call this pipes. Straight. Pipes. Single straight. Now that we did that, we can go ahead and go into Substance Painter. Might slow the stream down again. Yes, import. So let's get some metal. Try out a couple different things. Ooh, that doesn't look too bad. The rusted steel. Let's see what else we got. Could also go with like a painted one. Oh, that looks more rusty than painted. Also, we might have to get some of these effects to look good, have to bake the mesh maps first. A little bit better. I don't know if it's applying... Okay, no, it doesn't look like it's applying Shade Smooth here, or if it is, it's kind of being overdone by some of the edge stuff. Oh yeah, the edge stuff on the other texture was overdoing it. The blue could work. The blue pipes. As opposed to the red one, or the just like the silver. We look back here, again, this isn't... I'm not trying to make an exact recreation here. But... kind of having one color scheme isn't a bad idea. I don't hate this one. Or this one. Let's go with this. At least for now. We're gonna add color selection. Whoops. There's one thing I forgot to do for this to work. Go back here. When we baked mesh maps, we needed to go to ID. Vertex color. Now it's all separated out. And then when I color selection, pick color this. That'll let me color out these separately, which is probably going to be more of a steel color. I like that a lot already. There we go. I can add some other effects to it too if I wanted to. Let's see if we do like paint damage. A little too much. Have everything in the same hue. Yeah, like all kind of bluesies, or bluesies? Blues and greens. Is that what you mean? It's kind of what I was thinking. You're also on YouTube, which still might have the super mega delay. Because I read that right as it got sent. Yeah, the reference photo you have has a red hue. I don't know about that. I'll take a look at it again in a sec. You kind of looking at like this part here. Obviously, this doesn't really count because that's more of a prop. I'm gonna trust you because women can differentiate colors more than men can. So I'm gonna take your word on that one. I don't see it too much. But I do notice that it is different. I just can't pinpoint why. But it's red. Oh, yeah, it's slight, but it's red. I see. I see. Let's go ahead and make a copy. We're gonna throw that copy here. Call this MS Pipes Short Straight. Probably don't even need to specify that it's straight because short already kind of does that. Unless I have a short, or unless I have a straight curvy. No, can't think. It's getting late. Getting late. My brain hurt. Okay. That. There's that. Maybe a maroon, so it can have blue layered on it. Oh, I forgot that the length of one of these is 2 cells, not 1. Not that big of a deal, though. Although if I stretch this, I feel like that's gonna mess with like how this looks. That's not too bad though. All right, let's stretch this by 2. Oh, we're close. Oops. One. You hate my wall color. Well, excuse me. What about it is so atrocious? Huh? Hmm. I hate my blue pipe color. Hold on. That's a little bit better. And what color do you think would look better on the walls? Huh? What say you? Lighten it and go for the uncomfortable UV look? Like that? Light the sterile lab? It is lit. Oh, like a sterile lab vibe. How about this? No. You like that better? I've changed it like 10 times. The lighter? I kind of like this. I don't know if this is what you're talking about. Actually, I do kind of want it to be a little bit darker. Yeah. I don't know how bad your delay is. Because I like the darkness that like this has. I feel like I might also be more happy with it once there's like a ceiling and a floor. And it all kind of comes together a bit more. But how do you think about this one? I also want to see what the pipes look like in the other lighting. It has more layering of color in the reference. Back to it in a sec so I can take a look. Oops. A little too much overlapping here. Oh, no. That was actually like the right amount. These two sections aren't lined up perfectly. Just because it's plain gray, it's very monotone. Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot more going on in the, in this. Like, even between these two here, like, I think these are the same color of gray. It's just this single line. Whereas mine, it was meant to be only a little bit lighter on the bottom, but it ended up becoming a lot more light. There's also like smaller pipes here. The plain monotone gray makes it seem less realistic. Fair enough. I did say a bunch that I'm not going for that like look exactly. There are a couple other references I have that I want to check out at some point. But not tonight. Okay. How do we feel about the pipes though? Because it was a very bright blue at first. And then I dropped it down to a lot more of a subtle industrial-like blue that kind of matches more of the there's about between 40 to 60 shades of the color gray in the concrete of the reference. Huh? How do I feel about that? This blue. Or maybe like one of these. Also, one last thing before I wrap up for the night. Let me also just put all of these back so I can access them later when I reopen the project. That was the wrong thing, just realized that. At the beginning of the stream, I was talking about lighting, because there's like a few different types of lighting I could go with. Ultimately, I feel like the cooler blue-ish lighting is better. It's a little bit more thematically consistent with like the cooler atmosphere. But the other thing I was discussing is having the walls again, or the lights against the walls, as opposed to hanging from the center. And even though the center lighting definitely lights the area better, I feel like it's a little too perfect. It doesn't really take advantage of the lighting system Unreal Engine has, as opposed to like having them be wall lights on one side. I also toyed around with like bringing them closer to the wall, which kind of shows off more of the imperfections of the concrete. But then that also kind of makes a weird contrast besides this side of the wall with this one, is the issue with that. And then here are the other walls too. So this one's a little bit more orange, this one's a little bit more neutral light, and then we have like just the red. Not a bad idea to throw a little bit of red in here right now too, just for like exit signs and warning signs, just to see how that looks with the bluish lighting. Like if there was like a warning here or something. I hate it. I will teach you to layer color. Don't know how it works to make your own shaders, though. Okay, sounds like a deal. I'm not really good at color theory. I appreciate the color and the theory behind it. I just clearly don't understand it well enough. I also want to finish watching Halbot's tutorial, because he does like he made this scene in Unreal Engine, and I would assume he probably has a tutorial on the lighting part of it. Doesn't really look like he has subtitles for these. We'll just have to watch the whole thing. Okay, the models and the textures I think look okay. I can mess with the colors a little bit. I might change this piece here, because this is just painted on in Substance Painter. Oh, I should save my project in Substance Painter before I forget. Oh, I did already. Sweet. Just save, and then we can... Oops. No, I didn't. Didn't save it. Pipes. _SP. Just making sure that I have each of these saved correctly. I do, okay. I can bounce back and forth between them. Cool. Oh, that wrapping up text is overlapping. That's fine. I don't want to deal with that tonight. Okay. It'll be a little bit until I see y'all again. Next stream is planned for this Saturday in 11 a.m. PT in the morning. And if any of you can't make that, next is going to be likely a week from now on Monday, 7 PT. Probably going to be doing a little bit more work offline too. Now that I'm doing modeling and like actual level building, it's a lot more fun because I've been kind of stuck in the weeds of like programming and blueprints for so long that it's a nice mix up. So I'm gonna get some sleep. I recommend all of you do the same, and I will see you later. Have a good week.